Hello, vinyl community. Dark Dove here again with another vinyl update. I have quite a lot of stuff to show today. Some new releases, some charity shop finds, um, uh, record fair pickups. I'll get straight into it and start off with a new pickup, something I picked up just literally yesterday. One of the most anticipated releases of 2014, and that is Syro by Aphex Twin. Um, his first release his first kind of official release since 2001, I think. Drugs I think that was his last one. So there's been quite a build-up to this album. It's been very highly anticipated. It's a triple album, triple LP, released as has been on the Warp label, where which has been his label for quite some time now. But it has this rather unusual packaging. I'm kind of handling it quite carefully because it's got this very white cardboard sleeve, which I'm trying not to put fingerprints on. But if you can see that list there, that is a list of, it's basically an itinerary or a list of costs incurred in the making and promotion of this album. So there's lists like postage costs for radio promo mail out in Germany, £99. UK press day expenses for Leah, whatever Leah is, £31. It's all this kind of stuff. And it goes on and on. It's on the spine. It goes all the way around. So anyway, never mind all that. What's it like? You all cry. Well, it's so there's 3 discs. Side 1 is slightly more kind of up tempo, I suppose. The second disc then is kind of where he indulges his drum and bass side, I think. There's also some elements of kind of 80s influenced synth pop in there, and there's also some very minimal ambient moments as well, where he's just on the piano, and it's extremely minimal in a kind of a similar way to something like Eno's music for airports, or that kind of similar kind of a vein. Sorry, just excuse me. Okay. My copy, most copies that I've seen on Facebook or people showing them seem to have come with a nice cool carrier bag with the Aphex Twin logo on it, but this one didn't, which is slightly disappointing, but you can't win them all. Yeah, so it lives up to the hype, I think. It's probably not quite up there with some of his best stuff, but it is definitely worth the wait. It's worth the 13-year wait since his last album. So I'll just put that away. I'm already after putting some fingerprints on it, so I'll just bear with me 2 seconds. I'll just put it back into its plastic, into its. So I've picked up quite a bit of other stuff on the Warp label since my last video. I'm starting to get quite into that label. I find lately. There's a lot of stuff I'm starting to discover. I'm rediscovering, you know, a lot of their releases from the last 20 years. Now another pickup, or it wasn't actually a pickup. This is something I ordered on Discogs, and it's something I've been meaning to get for quite a while. Boards of Canada. Music Has the Right to Children. Now this originally came out in 1998. This is not the original. The original 1998 release goes for quite a lot of money generally. So this is a reissue from last year, 2013. They recreate the Braille sticker which came on the original. You can see that there. Very intriguing cover. That photo, it kind of looks like a family photo from the 1970s, where all the faces have been blurred out, slightly eerie. This is, you know, this is their best release. It's they haven't managed to top this, I think. I'm sure most people will agree. You know, it is regarded as their classic. So happy to add that to my collection. Now I was at a record fair just over a week ago here in the city. Picked up quite a bit of stuff. I'll be showing you some more stuff from that later, but one of the items I picked up was this, another release on the Warp label. This is a band called Plone, P-L-O-N-E. This is from 1999. It's kind of down-tempo electronica. As far as I'm aware, this is the only album they released. I don't think they're still together as a group under the Plone name, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, so kind of down tempo, kind of a slightly unusual kind of retro vibe to it. Staying with the Warp label, this is a release from 2004, Two Lone Swordsmen, and this is called From the Double Gone Chapel. I got this is a second-hand copy. I got this in Plugged, which is the local record store where I picked up the Aphex Twin. So this is kind of there's a bit of a post-punk influence in this. This group includes Andrew Weatherall in their ranks, the DJ Andrew Weatherall. This kind of goes against the grain from some of their previous releases, in including live instruments, drums, guitars, etc., plus vocals. So interesting. I'll just go through a couple of more items which I picked up in the same record store. This is another band who I've been getting into lately, Beak, formed by a couple of members of Portishead. There's a bit of a krautrock influence, particularly a bit of an influence from Noi. This is a release from 2012, which was for Record Store Day. It's one of 1,000 copies. Now it includes a cover of a Pink Floyd song, "Welcome to the Machine," as you can see there. So they're a band well worth checking out. I highly recommend them. In the same record store, this is another second-hand release. This is by Fad Gadget, Collapsing New People, 12-inch EP. This was originally released in the early 80s. This is a reissue from 2003, which includes the original and also an extended remix. So here we go, and it's on mute. Now, as I said, I was at a record fair last week and made some pretty nice pickups. I'll just show you there now. Further added to my David Bowie collection. Stage. It's a double live album from the late 70s, from 1978. It includes quite a few songs from his Berlin trilogy. Well, actually, from the first two releases, actually, from Low and Heroes, because as far as I'm aware, Lodger hadn't yet been released when this came out. So Heroes, What in the World, Breaking Glass. I've been looking for this for quite a while. Generally, I tend to come across kind of trashed copies in the wild. This one, I suppose, this one is kind of VG. It's not the best copy, probably, but it certainly does the job. So it's plugged a hole in, my Bowie collection. The same seller also had Let's Dance. It wasn't kind of top on my priority list really, but seeing as he had it and I got a deal on the two of them, I got the two of them fairly cheap. So nice copy as well. What else do I have? Oh yeah, the Mother Jones Flea Market. Anyone who watches my channel will know that I regularly pick up pretty interesting records there. So made a nice discovery. A seller up there had two albums by Scott Walker. Scott 2. So, Scott Walker, for those who aren't familiar, formerly of the Walker Brothers, he released 4 self-titled albums between, I think, 67 and 69, all absolute classics. This is number 2 from, I think, 1968. It's on the Philips. label. All four of them sold relatively poorly, and they're not that easy to find. Now, I also picked up number 4. Now, number 4 is, I think, the hardest of the 4 to find, because it was deleted very early on after it was released, so it is not at all easy to come across. This is a first. These are both first issues. When this album, this one, I think, yeah, this one was actually issued under his real name, which I don't know if I can see it. Scott Engel Walker, and that's one of the reasons why this album kind of bombed commercially, because he didn't release it under the Scott Walker name. He released it under his real name, so it sold very poorly, and it was pulled pretty soon after release. So it's quite hard to find this this first pressing of it. So all subsequent reissues of it had his real name. It was, or sorry, not his real name, but his Scott Walker stage name. So Scott too as well. He covers. He does his own songs. He covers some songs by Jacques Brel, Jackie, the Girls and the Dogs. You know, he was quite instrumental in popularizing the work of Jacques Brel in the English-speaking world with his cover versions. So yeah, so these are two great finds. Really pleased with them. Okay. Now what do I show next? Yes, some nice bit of funky kind of soul. I found this in a local secondhand record store. Picked it up nice and cheap. I was drawn principally to the cover. That's quite a nice cover. Friends of Distinction, Real Friends. It's an original US press from 1970. Has the inner bag. Nice condition. It's soul funk. It's pretty good. It's like without being kind of spectacular, you know. Some of the songs on it are slightly mawkish. Some of the lyrics, but especially this one song in particular, Out in the Country. I don't particularly like that song, but you know, it's a nice pickup. I also picked up this at the record fair. This is a band called Impact. Again, I was kind of drawn to the cover on this one. That's a great cover there. This is from 1976. Again, kind of soul funk. This one's got a bit of a slightly disco influence. Again, an original US copy on Atco. It's slightly worn, this copy, but it plays fine. There's a little bit of surface noise, but it's not too bad. Okay, yeah, so one extremely interesting find that I made at the record fair was this. Now this is a well, it's not strictly a compilation album. It's what's known as a sampler. It's called Bumpers. It came out on the Island label in 1970, and it was intended as a kind of a sampler for bands and acts on the Island label. You know, for people to kind of who were kind of unsure about buying an album by these acts. It was kind of just to give them a bit of a taster, you know. And there's an absolutely amazing lineup on this album. Nick Drake, Renaissance, John and Beverly Martin, King Crimson, Fairport Convention, Jimmy Cliff, and it's on the Pink Island label as well. So there you go. That's that. The pink label with the white eye. So that was an extremely nice find. What else do I have? Okay. Yes. Now this is. In my last video, I showed you a compilation album by Horslips. Here we are back again with Horslips. This is their best album. This is their, I think they're, as I said in the last update, Horslips, they tend to be, they're either very good or poor. This is their most consistently, their most consistent album, I think. It's from 1973. This is a late 70s reissue. It's called a Táin, or the Táin, which is an Irish Celtic legend. So it's a compilation album based on Irish folklore. Some of their best songs on here. Derek Doom, which features some great guitar work. It's a nice piece of Celtic prog folk rock. I'm going to finish up with two charity shop finds that I made. In some of my previous videos, I showed you some very interesting finds which I'd made in one particular charity shop. I made a few trips back there and scored some more pretty nice stuff. This is something I picked up actually just today, just a few hours ago. Depeche Mode, Violator, 1990 album on mute. I haven't yet listened to this. I just gave it a clean just before I went shooting this video. So went in there, had a look. They did some new stuff out. Most of it not that interesting, but I spotted this straight away and thought I'll be having that. So a fiver. So that was a pretty good find. The other pickup I made there recently was actually about 2 weeks ago, and so this is Cat Stevens, Matthew and Son. This is his debut album from 1967. It is a first pressing on Duran. In really, really nice condition, and I picked it up really cheaply. This is quite different from his later stuff, which he's most people are more familiar with. This is title track Match You and Son and I Love My Dog. It's more pop, late 60s pop influenced. I don't think you see it around too often, so it was quite a good find to make in a charity shop, you know, for his debut album, first pressing. As I said, you don't really see it in a while too much. I think that's pretty much everything though. Okay, I've gone to 25 minutes, so I better wrap it up fairly quick. Thanks very much for watching, everybody, and feel free to comment. And okay, see you next time.